Today we are reviewing my daily training for 2024, the Reebok Floatride Energy 5. I've now done quite a few miles in this shoe, so today I'm going to give my update, my views and opinions on the daily trainer for this year. I'm going to give scores for all the major parts of the shoe and give my overall opinion on how I think this shoe has done for me this year. So yeah, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, feel free to look through all the playlists and back catalogue of stuff I've done. This year I'm kind of within a 5 shoe rotation. My running has took a step up this year, hopefully. I'm doing far more mileage, and I'm obviously my training is going to be far more specific. So this year I decided to buy a shoe for a specific reason, one shoe per kind of goal run, kind of an easy recovery day shoe, a daily tempo type shoe, a speed work shoe, a long run shoe, and then obviously a race day kind of elite type shoe. Though on my 5, I've previously done the long run shoe, the Mizuno Wave Sky Rise 3, and the easy recovery day shoe, my Brooks Ghost 14. I'll tag both them there. So yeah, I said if you've not watched them ones, go back and look through them if you wish to. I've done an initial run in these, I'll tag that one there. And today's, let's say, is a bit of an update vlog. It was meant to be 30 miles, 50k update, was kind of the initial point I wanted to do an update after running that kind of decent amount of miles. These are on screen, I've done pretty much double that now, nearly 120k in these, so I'm in a position where I can definitely give a bit of an updated opinion compared to that initial run. Let's get straight into it. So as usual, I'll try and get through this as quick as possible. I do tend to bang on a little bit in terms of, I love talking about shoes and all the ins and outs of it. So previously, again, if you watch the channel for long enough, I previously had the Floatride 3. That was probably my favourite daily trainer for the last couple of years, a year or so. 2 years or so. So I love the response to that shoe, the fact it could do a bit of everything. My only downside to that was it was a bit of a lower stack, and with the softness and the squish of the foam, it did bottom out after say about 10 or 12k, much more than that, and you would start to feel like you wanted a bit more underfoot. I raised it at the time. Again, I'll tag the vlog there, and I wanted Reebok to, I don't think they listened to me, but I wanted Reebok to up the stack a little bit, maybe make it a bit more robust as a foam. And obviously there's a few mild stability issues where the shoe rocked, obviously with the softness again of the foam. And to be fair, in the 5, they've kind of rectified all those major issues. Let's dive straight into that now. I think it's just a coincidence. So quickly go over some facts and stats like I normally do. So yeah, this is my daily trainer. This is what I would basically market it as if I was going to recommend it to any kind of runs. It is a classic daily trainer. Can do a bit of everything. It's not the speediest shoe, it's not the best at recovery days, but it can do a bit of everything. If you've got just one shoe and you want it to basically be a jack of all trades and do a bit of everything, this can do that purpose. So yeah, stats and facts. RRP'd for £85. I picked it up for £45 on discount. Weight 283 grams or 9.9 ounces. So again, that magic 10 ounces. And that's for my UK size 11. I said I would class it as a classic daily trainer. It's got an 8mm drop. So again, on the higher end of the drop scale. And for me, only 2 brands do I run a little bit long, or the shoes run a little bit long in. So Asics and Reebok, they run a tiny bit long for me. So I went actually half size down in this shoe. So this is for my UK 10.5. So it does, for some people, I would say it fits a tiny bit long. Reebok, it does for me. I say most of the brands, New Balance, Hoka, Adidas, they all fit pretty much true to size. But for me, Reebok, I go half size down. So let's get on with it. I always start with the outsole. So yeah, outsole, again, I'll do some close-ups as I'm talking. Very similar to I'll compare a little bit to the 3, because that's my previous, I can give a kind of personal opinion on that in terms of direct correlation and direct comparison. The 3 pretty much exactly the same lug design, exactly the same rubber. The only difference is this torsion support plate here, so it stops quite as much twisting as the previous one would have done. Helps with the stability, but in terms of grip, I'd say it's maybe a slightly firmer compound of rubber. It's not quite as grippy as the 3 used to be, but yeah, grip overall, I've run in all conditions again, wet, dry. Again, you can see now there's a bit of mud on it. I've run in wet conditions, even it's spring now in the UK, it's still not dry. So it's a tiny bit slippy in the wet conditions, if I'm being deadly honest. But overall, not too much rubber, a thin veneer of rubber, quite grippy, good lugs, doesn't collect any debris or anything like that. So for the outsole, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. I said, does everything you want it to do on a daily trainer. Can say go off the beaten track a little bit in terms of light trail. It's suitable for grip from that. Tarmac roads in most conditions is suitable enough for most people's uses. So yeah, I should say obviously this is my daily training. I said I've basically pigeonholed each running shoe this year into a specific purpose. I wanted to get a shoe specifically for a specific run, so when I'm doing that type of run, I can focus on that and pick the shoe that's the best kind of use case for that shoe. So this is my daily. I do, like I said, a variety of different runs. If there's any kind of variation within the run, a fartlek or on-off or a mixed pace run. This is the shoe I generally grab. Like I say, if I do a speed work, I'll obviously do my speed shoe. Easy run would be my easy shoe. Long run over, say, 15, 16k, 9, 10 miles, anything over that would be my long run shoe. Anything else is this shoe. So yeah, moving on to midsole. Like I did mention, this is definitely a bit firmer than the 3. I really love the 3 in terms of the response and the squish. The 5 is definitely a bit firmer. It's a bit higher stacked, and is better for, like I said, for a bit more of a variety of reasons. The 3 was a bit niche in terms of up to a 10k. It was great as a daily trainer for that. So anything like 5 to 10k or anything in and around that window of kind of whatever daily types of runs was perfect for that shoe. It lasted and lasted. I'll go into durability later. This has obviously been not marketed, but has been produced in terms of a bit of a wider audience. It can do most things. You could probably get away with running a half marathon in this. Whereas the 3 I definitely wouldn't have done. It did bottom out and you felt like you needed more underfoot. The stability has helped again for more types of runners. But yeah, so the midsole, I do still like it. I preferred the 3's response. It's not quite as responsive. It's definitely not as responsive as the 3, but with a higher stack, slightly firmer, which again ticks a lot more boxes in terms of a broader range of uses. And again, it can do a lot of things. When you're doing your warm-ups, it feels nice and comfortable, and the gait cycle lets you flick through that quite quickly. And again, at speed, you can get up to speed, get onto your toes. It's got quite a big drop. I used to have a 9 in the 3, a 9mm drop in the 3, and in the 5 it has an 8. So yes, it's on the higher end of the drop scale, but obviously for some people that's not an issue. For me, it's not an issue. I do run in a variety of drop shoes. Higher drops aren't a big deal. So yeah, for midsole, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. It ticks a lot of boxes. It's not the most responsive. It's not quite as fun and enjoyable as the 3 was, but it does tick a lot more boxes. I can understand why they've gone that way. Like I said, I was one that petitioned for this type of change from the 3 to the 4 to the 5. I never owned the 4, but now the 5 has done what I wanted the 3 to be. I can't really grumble about that. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for the midsole. Moving on to the upper now. Does everything you want it to do. Again, classic daily trainer. It doesn't look particularly breathable. Dual mesh. Dual engineered mesh again, so 2 layers. The tongue is gusseted with elastic kind of mesh material on both sides, both medial and lateral sides. Good cushioning in the tongue, just enough, not loads and loads. Similar with the heel counter, I'd say just enough, not plush, not like the Ghost. If you haven't watched that, go and watch that. That is what you call a plush shoe. Heel counter, I'd say again, middle of the road, not immovable but not completely race day type, wafer thin, nothing there kind of thing. And then a nice heel flare at the back, again really comfortable, really easy to get a good lockdown. Laces aren't bad. I've had a couple of runs where I've had like regular lace unties, but if you cinch it down pretty tight with one knot and then you definitely double knot it and give that a good cinch, you're pretty much safe. It won't come undone. They're not the greatest of laces, but they're not bad. So yeah, overall for the upper, 8.5 out of 10. There's nothing really to mark it down on too much. It's not massively breathable, but it's breathable enough. Looks pretty good. You can get away with it as a casual wear shoe. I think it's a pretty good looking shoe with multiple different colorways. This was the only one that was available on that massive discount I mentioned, so I grabbed it. But yeah, overall 8.5 out of 10 for the upper. Pretty much does everything you want it to do. So that's all the main parts of the shoe done. I generally now wrap it up with a value and durability prediction score. So generally I have to go off RRP. If I give this a value score for the price I picked up at 45, you'd have to give it a 9.5 out of 10 for what it can do, the amount of time it's going to last, which I'm going to touch upon in a minute. For £45 is untouched. I think there's not many shoes out there that you can compete with this, but for RRP it's £85. Now there is some shoes you can compare. So the Puma Deviate is a comparable shoe. I think there's Liberate Nitro as well, and the Velocity Nitro range. Puma, they're probably the only real ones. People talk about like a Pegasus as a daily trainer, but that's RRP'd for like 130, 140 generally. So that's £50 extra shoe. I wouldn't say that was a direct comparison. I've run in the Pegasus Trail, and I wouldn't be paying. I'm not running the actual Pegasus road shoe, but I've run in the Pegasus Trail, which is basically a very similar shoe, just got a different outsole. but not much variation really, and I wouldn't pay the extra 50-60 quid for that shoe compared to this one. So the Pumas, I'm now on the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite, which isn't the Daily Trainer, but I can imagine that Daily Trainer is pretty good, the Deviate Nitro. But yeah, so for RRP for £85, what you can get out of this shoe, I said it is a bit of a classic Daily Trainer. You can do a bit of everything in it. Bit of speed work, a bit of tempo work, a few intervals. You can just go out and get a solid, steady run in, a steady state. You can do, like I said, fartleks. You can do a bit of easy running if you need to. It does tick all the boxes. There's nothing really negative about it. It's just a solid grab every day without worrying about it type of shoe. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 for value. Like I said, it will last and last. I'm going to touch upon that now. But it does tick all the boxes in terms of what you want a daily trainer to do. And for £85, there isn't many shoes out there, if any, on that price level, which will give you all this kind of bang for your buck. Okay, finally now just to wrap up. So yeah, durability, the 3, I'll put details on screen. I think that went for nearly 900. Actually, I'm just going to check, bear with me. Yeah, so the Reebok Floatride Energy 3, I got to 941k. I started to get a minor knee issue on the medial side of my knee, where I think my foot was crashing in. Basically where the inside of the shoe started to wear down a little bit on the heel. That's a 900k in. It just started to deteriorate, and again with that distortion plate, my foot did kind of turn in on landing, and I started to get a bit of a knee issue, so I retired them. But again, that shoe I think I picked up for £54, and to get, like I said, 900 odd k, yeah, so to get nearly 600 miles, nearly 1,000 kilometres out of a shoe that I paid £54 for, this is going to do very simple, probably exactly the same, if not more. Like I said, it's got a slightly higher stack, a slightly firmer midsole, the outsole's almost identical, the upper is obviously much improved, a bit thicker, a bit more robust compared to the 3, which was a kind of a thinner engineered mesh. And that still didn't deteriorate, but yeah, so it's going to definitely do 900k, 600 miles or more, I think. So, so yeah, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 for durability. Again, going off the RRP of £85, if you get, like say, 800k, 500 miles or more, I think everyone will be pretty happy with that in terms of value for money and durability and longevity. That lasts everyone, no matter how far you run and how often you run, it's going to last you a good few months, if not a year. The 3 lasted me, I think, over a year. These will last me at least all year. So 9 out of 10 for durability. So let's wrap up with the final scores now. So yeah, just to wrap up, it kind of exactly what I expected it to be, a good solid shoe. There's not one category there that it's kind of done badly on. It's got an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 in every category, and exactly what it does, exactly what it says on the tin. It's a good solid daily trainer, ticks a lot of boxes, covers a lot of bases. But yeah, overall score 42 out of 50, so 84%. You got a really solid shoe. The 3, I couldn't really sing praises high enough about it in terms of, I was kind of one of its biggest fans. The 5 is an improvement. I do enjoy it. It's weird though, because I do enjoy it slightly less than the 3. It's not quite as responsive, not quite as fun to run in. It's a bit more, it's not diluted, but because of the higher stack and the slightly firmer stack, obviously the midsole is a large part of the shoe. It's slightly less fun to run in. Still enjoyable though, and it still ticks a lot of boxes. I understand, like I said before, why they've gone that way to try and market it to a bigger audience. And it is generally a better shoe, the 5, than the 3 was. But yeah, so wrap it up there. It's a great daily trainer. Would highly recommend the Reebok Floatride range to anybody, especially if you're just a new runner starting out and you want just a one shoe that can tick a lot of boxes. The 5 is a great shoe to go and grab. But yeah, I'll wrap it up there. As always, thank you for watching. Look out for upcoming reviews on the other shoes as well, and upcoming training vlogs, and I'll see you all on the next one.